Mr. Bernaskoni, you are Secretary General of the Hague Conference of Private International Law. The only common thing you have with the Hague Tribunal is the location, Hague. Which are the benefits that people and companies worldwide have from your instruments? More specifically, in which manner Hague Conventions help or resolve problems?
The Hague Conference on Private International Law, the HCCH as we call it these days, is the oldest of the many legal institutions and organizations based in The Hague. It's the only one with a legislative mandate, so we develop legal norms in form of conventions mainly, to which states can then become a party. So we are not a tribunal, we are not a court, you cannot bring an individual case to the HCCH. But maybe most importantly, I would say that amongst all the organizations based in The Hague, the work of the HCCH has indeed the most direct impact, practical impact on people's life. And I'm saying this because we live in a world where almost everything we do as citizens, as people, as commercial operators, has a cross-border element, has a connection with another state, and therefore has a connection with another legal system. And as soon as you are in contact with two or indeed more legal systems, you are in private international law, because the questions are which law applies, is it the law of Macedonia, is it the law of the Netherlands or any other law, which court has jurisdiction, so which court is entitled to hear a case, a litigation. What about the recognition and enforcement of foreign judgments, how to go about this? And most importantly also the fourth dimension, as I like to call it, of private international law is the cooperation, legal cooperation, judicial cooperation, administrative cooperation between states. To put in place mechanisms that allow to overcome the often very practical difficulties and challenges that one faces in these situations. And we do all this work in a very broad range of topics, going from international family law and child protection to transnational litigation in civil and commercial matters, and also a bit of commercial law and finance law.
From the variety of conventions, which are the most frequently used? For example, is it the Hague Apostille Convention or Maintenance Convention or maybe some other?
In terms of just actual numbers of applications, clearly it's the Apostille Convention. So the Apostille Convention facilitates the use of public documents that have been, say, executed here in Macedonia, to use them abroad in another state. And the Apostille Convention does away with the long and costly and terribly inefficient process of legalization and replaces it with a simple formality, which is the issuance of an apostille, which is like a certificate of authenticity of the document. So that applies to birth certificates, marriage certificates, death certificates, to notarial acts, to judgments, to patents. A broad range of public documents. And we know, based on our partial statistics, so the real figures are probably even higher, but we estimate that each year there are somewhere between 30 and 35 millions of apostilles issued around the world.
What can you say about Macedonia, about its participation in Hague instruments? Can you make a comparison with the other countries from the region?
I'm pleased to say that Macedonia is a contracting party to 10 of our conventions. In addition to these 10 conventions, you have also signed 4 conventions, and I hope that these signatures will soon be signed by ratification. And in comparison to other states here in the region, in the Western Balkans, it's a good record. It's actually quite a good record. In general, I must say, in the Western Balkans, the the work of the HCCH enjoys quite a high visibility, and a number of ratifications and accessions have taken place. What I would encourage Macedonia and also other states in the region to do is to become even more actively involved in the actual negotiations of new conventions. The conventions are being picked up by states in the region, but I know that there is expertise here in this region in terms of private international law that I would love to see being brought to The Hague, to the table.
One of the reasons for your visit here is Hague 2019 conventions for judgment convention. Can you tell us why is it important for the countries of the region to sign this convention?
So you're referring to the 2019 Judgments Convention, recognition and enforcement of foreign judgments in civil or commercial matters, which I like to refer to as a potential game changer, because for the first time the world community back then in 2019 gave itself an instrument that is designed to allow for the global circulation of judgments in civil and commercial matters. For the first time that such an instrument is promised really to have a real effect and to be applied widely. So I am really very pleased to see the interest here in the region for this convention. There have been a lot of efforts these past years to promote the Judgments Convention, to prepare the implementation and signing and hopefully ratification of the convention. And I think it's an important development, because I think the Judgments Convention has what I would refer to as a centripetal force. So it really brings states and jurisdictions together because it establishes a common platform, a common framework for the recognition and enforcement of judgments which can circulate freely amongst contracting parties. The convention does provide legal certainty and predictability, which is what business operators want. So before investing in another jurisdiction, you want to know what are the rules of the game, and one rule you want to know is how could I possibly have a judgment from that state recognized and enforced abroad, or a foreign judgment enforced in that state where I'm going to invest.
Mr. Bernaskoni, thank you for this interview.
Thank you very much for your time. It was a pleasure. Thank you.